I am sure you love fighting with adjusters about getting paid a fair amount to do the work needed on claims with damage. If that's your favorite thing to do, then just get back to it. If you want to know how to prep a claim properly, then this one's for you. So my name's Dustin. I'm with Empty Box, and we're going to look at preparing a claim file properly and what to do day one when receiving the claim. So kind of the first things that I always look at is this is just a CRM that I use with my specific clients that we built here at Empty Box. So it's just a way for us to dump information in. We have summary of claim, contacts, documents, and supplements needed, and then a lot of things we can do from there. But this is just kind of a form for when the claim gets handed off. And this is what I mean by fill in the field. So date of loss is important. You'll see the basic idea is having a claim number, customer info, an address. But then when you get down here, like date of loss and the date received, these things become pretty important when you start building a claim file just before you even get to the next step. So I always, when I was in the field, I would make sure to gather this information before I even started the actual inspection. It was kind of an important step to just get the claim file prepped, but also gathering information as the homeowner or property owner is explaining certain things to you. So one of the main things is once you get all this done is prepping for the inspection. And one of the thoughts that I always had was don't wear blinders. Property owner is going to show you the portions of the loss. They might point out here and be like, well, this window started leaking, right? But that's just a portion of what's happening. I don't know if it happened right here or on the floor above it. And if it did happen on the floor above it, you're going to start running water through all these external portions. So don't just get blinded by like what shows the worst portions of it. When doing the inspection, just try to open up and figure out what's going on. So one of the main things too, when you're there on day one, making sure you're getting everything prepped and ready for a good file to send into the actual adjuster is isolate the area and then stabilize the loss. And if you actually call into a carrier, so I was on program work for a long time with some of the carriers, but when you would call in like the second you arrived and knew what was going on. And the first thing they want to ask is, has the cause of loss been resolved? So just making sure that that's found very quickly and not moving on to just tearing things out. If it's wet, find the cause of loss, because if it's not stopped leaking on a water loss or a fire hasn't gone out, then you need to get that fixed first before you move on doing anything else. So that's the kind of first idea, is just stabilize the loss, confirm the cause of loss has been resolved, and then move forward, but not going too fast and just starting demo or repairs to be done quick. And a lot of that anxiety or that pressure to feel like you need to be moving forward fast can come from the property owner. They'll be like, well, I just want to get this fixed. But that really does not help the most, is just to be moving forward fast. It's once you've like, okay, cause of loss has been resolved, I know where the main area of loss is, but then do a quick walk to all the ancillary rooms. I personally would actually walk a whole house. For instance, if it's like water pressure in a pipe or something like that, where you might have more than one leak and they may not know it yet. They may have seen it first in one room, but if you don't like scan that whole house, you got to think these things are systems, generally speaking. So like, even if it was a fire, if they didn't have the wherewithal to cover vents and stuff, that soot could end up in the far end of the house very quickly before anybody knows what's actually going on. So that would be my first thought, is when you're getting that inspection portion done, just check everywhere. It really makes the most sense. Now, granted, there's some large losses that could take a very long time. So I'm just mainly saying, don't get blinded, see a bigger picture. But some of the pro tips that I've found over the years now, and these are like kind of behind the scenes on claims, a lot of the conversations that are happening, is when you approach an adjuster with the calmness and fair motives, saying we're not trying to like expand this scope crazy high just because, but have a lot of justifications, these talks actually go really well. And I find a lot of the contractors I work with, that frustration can set in when they first say no. So it's like you submit something and they go, no, we're not paying any of it. But what I've found is just approaching with a calm, methodical, process and fair motives, all claims end well. It's all that in between that's really hard to know what's going to be said. You may just have an adjuster who's not experienced, or they're just grumpy that day. So I always found lately, the calmer you are and the more methodical and just process driven you are, all claims will end fine. And you just can't let that emotion get in. But that's why a lot of clients have me do their claims management. Like, they'll hire me specifically to do their claims management because they're like, I just can't talk to that adjuster anymore. And that's totally fair. I get it. It's like your livelihood and your business depends on them approving those things. And then the homeowner or property owner, them getting back in their home, kind of depends on them approving those things. So that is why a lot of clients use me for that. I always think, like, when you're in the inspection, don't think too much. I think that what I've found a lot of times with documents that were coming over to me early on, whenever I'm working with the client, is they think they need to be exhaustive in their information that they're handing off, or even like determining the scope of the work before it's even been found. So for instance, like if I go to these photos here, so on day one, the first photo set I got, and this would kind of go back to the point of moving forward too fast, right? So they gave me these, I think, 10 photos first. These were the first photo set right here. And you can see, I don't really know a whole lot of info there. There's not a whole lot to go off of as far as like, what am I actually looking at here? But what's interesting is then I asked for a further photo set and start to realize, oh, okay, yeah, this water probably got behind this, probably went over here behind these built-ins. We have a little bit, it's not crown molding, but whatever that would be called, that little, it almost looks like chair molding higher up. I don't know the name of it, but French door maybe got affected depending on how the water flowed from this point over across the top of these to get on top of the French door. So if that starts warping, you want to know that. So the main thing at inspection that I've found is observe and document. And we can come back to the review later. You don't have to do that right now while you're on site and things are a little more chaotic, because it's like, oh, I got to contain all this dust. I got to get things out of the way. Contents need to move. All that stuff's happening. Just document and observe what you see, and we can come back to the review. Just gather as much information as possible before moving on to talk to the property owner or doing actual work, because it's worse to say to a property owner, hey, all we have to do is we're just going to rip out this drywall and you're going to be good. Well, on the next day, or when you're like a little more calm and you see it, you're like, oh crap, now we need to get all of this whole wall out. This window needs to come out. So it's just best to kind of gather as much as possible before you even tell them what your next step is, or the plan is. So I've found when you're communicating to a property owner, never use these large statements like, oh, this whole room is going to have to come out, or, oh my gosh, this is actually a very easy job. All we have to do is this. Don't use large statements. Just say what my next step is, and that will bring a lot of calm to the property owners in giving more vague impressions of the big picture, and not vague in the sense that you don't know what you're going to do, but just like, okay, our next step is we're going to contain off, like on this one, they contained off these areas. They blocked out the room. They covered some contents. Just say that we're going to do this next. And then we're going to do our full assessment. We're going to talk to your adjuster. We're going to make sure we get approvals before moving forward. That's what we're doing. That just gives a very calm feeling to the whole thing, gets rid of the anxiety. When you start giving too many details, like, well, we have to document every single thing. We have to put descriptions on every photo. We have to, make sure every piece of thing get out of here. We have to tear out all the drywall. If there's mold, we're going to have to do this. You start doing that, and now you're just compounding anxiety for this homeowner. It's just too much. They just need to know what is the next step. Move that forward. That would be my pro tip when you're in the field. It helps everything out because now you have information to give to the adjuster. Homeowner feels calm. You have a big picture assessment of the job without actually like determinations yet, but you understand, okay, this is potentially bigger than I think. It lets discovery happen. You've stabilized. Everything's good. There's no worries as far as the contractor goes. I've done everything I need to do to create a justifiable document to the carrier. So that's important. So just kind of to run right back through it, I would say fill in the fields, have some way of capturing data, right? So you're going to go, when you're looking at these things, just making sure that, okay, I am looking at this and I'm going to fill in a claim number, customer phone, customer email, property address, type of loss. So if I've dropped this down, is it residential, commercial, industrial? Damage, what was the damage? What type of estimates are going to be needed? Do I need to do a contents estimate? Do I need to do in other structures? Are we temping in anything? Did a window break? Stuff like that. And then you're going to say, okay, I'm going to have to do a rebuild, a water mitigation. Then you move on. Who's the insurance carrier? Adjuster's name if we know it, a phone number, an email, the date of loss, date you received it. Did we have a carrier original document? Have they already acknowledged the loss and gave a value to it? Now, granted, that value is going to be very low compared to what gets submitted, or at least it should be, because most carriers don't ever give the final payout up front anyway. So they just kind of give a skeleton, and then that's what we do at Empty Box. We expand, we supplement, we say, hey, thank you for acknowledging the loss and what you will pay. Here's the extras that need to get the job to where it needs to go. And that's what we would do, is like start with theirs. And then if there's a project manager, and this is important because like if I need to go back to someone, especially when I'm managing the claim, but as you too, if you did it yourself, it's just knowing who was the person on site there. So who was the first to see it and document it. Having their information on the file is very important and helpful, because then that way I can go back and say, hey, I only got 10 photos, I need more. So now this file started to be built out and we got more photos, more understanding of what's happening here. And so then we can put descriptions on it saying, okay, there's significant damage here, water damage, covering contents. This photo report is going to go to the carrier because they may never go out. I'd say probably like 25% of the claims that I work, we build the file very quick for the carrier. And then what we do is we just submit it. We just send it in, and they never do a field inspection. They just say, okay, thanks for all the info. I have enough to do what I need to do. They approve things or hand it off to a third-party vendor, and everything goes fine. So that's what I find is just doing it in the proper way will just work wonders for the rest of that claim. So fill in the fields, prep for the inspection, always look wider, see the big picture than just the directly affected areas, stabilize the environment, confirm the cause of loss has been resolved. Don't rush it, bring the calmness to the environment. And basically just want to say, like, contractors, we're here, have done jobs in 49 of 50 states, plus Canada. The only state I've not done a claim in yet is Mississippi. I don't know why that is, but if you're in Mississippi, please send me a claim just so I can say 50 out of 50. That would be preferable. But if you found this helpful, hit subscribe and then hit the bell for reminders, or as these come out more. We're going to start doing weekly insurance claims tips. And drop a comment if you have a question. I'll read every single one. And check the description for any resources. Like one of the main things on a claim like this that happened was Matterport and DocuSketch can be really helpful, to be honest. Like I didn't have a sketch for this one, so I had to kind of sketch it from just like, hey, how big do you think the room is? And then these photos. So I sketched it that way. But Matterport and DocuSketch, if you've never heard of them, check in the description. I'll put some links for it because it can make this a lot easier too, where it'll give the exact height of things. And I can go in and measure and say, okay, this window's this big. It just makes it like less time on site, less frustration. You just scan the room or rooms. A lot of times on the large losses, this becomes more helpful because you could have like 18 rooms that you're just having someone go around and scan. Then I can do, or someone who's doing the estimating for you can just go jump in there and know exactly how big rooms are. It makes the estimating process much easier. Carriers like it, makes the approval rates a lot higher. So I'll drop those in there. But yeah, hit subscribe. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll respond to them. And if you need direct help, then I would just say, give me a call. I'll drop our website in the description as well. You can reach out to me directly. I usually answer my phone. If I don't, I'll text you, just say, hey, I'll call you back in 5-10 minutes. The only reason would be I'm on a phone with literally a client or an adjuster, but otherwise always available. Reach out for any help. And next time, I think we're going to be looking at photo documentation, because this one is a little off. I mean, it's not horrible, but there's a lot better ways to do photo reports than this. And I think that that'll be super helpful for everybody. So thanks for joining. Have a good day. Again, Dustin with Empty Box.